Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, taking a little bit of a break from, the details of training and the science behind training variables and so on. We're going to take a look at a cool product that pretty much just arrived in the mail, so stay tuned. All right, so what arrived in the mail? This right here. It is called a Halo Sport 2. As you can see, it's a headset, and I'll tell you much more about it in a moment. But I've actually had my eye on the older version for about 6 months, and they just announced the second version, so Halo Sport 2. So I decided eventually I'm gonna pull the trigger, I'm gonna get it. So what on earth does that thing do? Well, just think about it. For every movement that we make, our brain needs to send messages or signals along nerve cells or neurons, if you like, to specific muscles, which then stimulates them to contract. Now, what might seem to be simple movements are the result of many different muscles contracting and relaxing in a particular sequence or rhythm with different degrees of force to be able to cause that movement. Now, the region of the brain where these signals originate is what is called the motor cortex, or the primary motor cortex. And learning really complicated skills, you can imagine, especially if they're movement-based skills, typically requires a lot of practice for you to get all the coordination perfectly worked out. And all of that coordination is happening via signals from the nerve cell connections within the motor cortex. And as those connections get stronger and stronger, you get better and better. And that concept is called neuroplasticity. If you're like me, you're interested in making the execution of exercises in the gym essentially second nature. Now, there's a lot of skill required in order to contract specific target muscles in very specific sequences at specific rates, and to exert and maintain as much tension as you possibly can in those target muscles without allowing it to shift anywhere else. And because of the very close attention I'm constantly paying to those internal cues from my body as I go through the range of motion of a rep, I'm always chasing that perfect rep where the muscular tension is exactly where I want it to be from the start to the end of the rep, and then I'm trying to replicate that perfect rep all the way to the end of a set. Now, being able to acquire that perfect rep faster and faster, as well as repeatedly, is obviously an ultimate goal. Now, as you can imagine, this is me taking those principles into the gym, but similar principles exist for high-level athletes and high-level athletic performance in sports, or in musical instrument playing proficiency. So, high degree of skill means a lot of practice, and that's where me trying out this Halo Sport comes in. So the headset is designed to stimulate the primary motor cortex of the brain, or region of the brain, using these little rows of small electrodes to then transmit electrical signals. And so doing this for about 20 minutes, according to the company, before your training is supposed to increase neuroplasticity for up to an hour, and that's supposed to result in increased ease of executing complex movements, improved strength or neural drive, and even an improvement in endurance via movement efficiency. So you see where this is going. I'm gonna use the Halo Sport before as many training sessions as I can over the coming few weeks and months. And I'll try to be as objective as I possibly can be with assessing any effects on both movement patterns and on strength. If you've made it this far, I have one more surprise. So yes, I am Jamaican, and that is the weird accent, or the weird but fading accent. And hopefully I will soon officially be Hawaiian, since Kauai here in Hawaii is my new home. But with Caribbean culture comes Caribbean music. So way back, maybe 18-ish years ago, I started to learn how to play the steel pan, and I've completely forgotten. It's been 18, probably close to 20 years. So what I'm gonna do is, once I've gotten comfortable with the Halo Sport over the next couple of weeks or couple of months, depending, I might be ready to try it out, test it out, and see if it can help me to recover some of the fine hand motor skills that I'll need to relearn in order to relearn how to play the steel pan. So, they've totally, as you can see, been sitting essentially brand new in their case for about 3 years. And I'll work on documenting, how things are going for both the fitness training effects and the steel pan playing effects, and hopefully you guys will subscribe and follow along through the course of both of those mini adventures. Within the next week or so, hopefully I'll have the next video up for my progress with training. And until then, guys, as always, aloha from beautiful Kauai.